Hi everyone, my name is Mia Shute and I am a senior at Rowan University. I had the pleasure of going on a short study abroad trip last spring, which would be the spring of 2024. And a little bit more about me is I am a biological sciences major at Rowan and I have a psychology minor. So without further ado, I'd love to talk more about my trip, and I hope that you get a chance to learn something new from me or feel motivated to go on a trip if you're on the fence about it. So I want to start by explaining why I was attracted to the program that I went on, which was the Great Urban Spaces trip. And we visited in 10 days the cities London, England, Paris, France, Rome, Florence, and Assisi, Italy. And to my surprise, and despite what you might think, given that I'm wearing a shirt with the Colosseum in Rome on it, I would have to say London was my favorite city. It turned my world upside down. I thought the sights of Westminster Abbey, Elizabeth Tower, seeing Buckingham Palace and the changing of the guard ceremony, just to name a few, were so charming and eloquent. I loved it so much. And my favorite spot in London was actually just outside the city, Windsor Castle, which I believe was Queen Elizabeth, who recently passed, her favorite place to be. And I can see why, because they're rolling green hills, a quaint and quiet sort of castle sitting on a hill, and there is a St. George's Chapel there with these ornate cathedral ceilings and so much elegance and serenity that I love it, and I really hope that you get to go. So continuing on, I would like to talk about some of the main characteristics that I think make a great urban space. And for me, those three are: one, being the transportation there, two, being the food, and three, being the spirit. So to talk about the transportation, so I'm going to stick to thinking about these things based on the country we're in. So England first, and then Paris, and then Italy. So England's transportation, we were mostly using the tube there, which is their underground train transportation. And that was my favorite. I loved sort of the mindlessness that I could have by just sitting on the train amongst other civilians. I just thought it was really cool and contrasts what I do at home a lot. And then in France, we took a bus a lot. And in Italy, we walked. Florence especially was a small city, and it was easy to do that. And it was very quaint there. Next, food. I will say I loved the food in all three places, but also London surprised me the most. First, the fish and chips were amazing in London, and I loved them so much. I also got to try beans and toast and tea from like a true teapot as well. In France, I got to try macarons as well as a pretty renowned beef dish as well. And then in Italy, I got a chance to try spaghetti from its sort of capital in the world in Italy, as well as try coffee there and much more. But I think the food, it keys you into what the people value and love and what they grow and their roots, and that was really amazing. And finally, the spirit of the city. I think that the spirit of the city tells so much about the place. And for example, London surprised me because with sort of the cliche, which was what happened when I was there, with the rain, I just thought people might be a little bit more secluded inside, and just kind of keeping to themselves. People were out on the streets. Pubs were open doors. there was just a friendly charm and air about everything. And then in France, what I noticed is that there was a lot of romance everywhere. I know despite the cliches, I'm telling you, I saw lots of loved ones gathering and just that air of love. And finally in Italy, it just felt so homey, so welcoming, sort of like time stood still. Um, and I would love to close this out by saying that it was great going on the trip with other Rowan students because it was a way to have a home away from home, people to connect with, and people that understood you when you're traveling far away and that get your language even. Um, and lastly, this trip helped me grow as a person because it allowed me to get a taste of what it was like to be in Europe without uh, being away for a longer period of time. And also now I know the city that I really want to go back to first, which I think has to be London. It's a great taste, and I think this saying YOLO held true for me that I only live once, and it was a great opportunity, and I would recommend it highly to another person in my position. I think my final tips I would like to share with you all is that if you're on the fence and just unsure of doing this experience because you don't know someone that has, or you just want to have that human to human connection, please reach out to me. I will be graduating soon, so I don't think that my Rowan email is a great source to contact me. But if you want to contact my personal email, miashute10@gmail.com, miashute10@gmail.com. And finally, please go into the experience with an open mind and heart. If you have that calling like me, I think you're going to love this trip, and I hope you get to travel. Bye!